Yes, 348 Tennessee. Yeah, we got a copy on you. Yeah, we're talking on a Cobra 142. How's it making it?
Oh, it's crystal clear. It sounds real good over here, man. I'd take the knobs off of it so you didn't be tempted to monkey with it anymore.
Hey guys, it's Bruce over here, Be Cool Radios. Yeah, what do you think of this radio? This is a Pace 8193. Yeah, it's kind of a, Royce made a CB radio like this with 3 meters. Yeah, so I'm sure it shares some of the internals from that. We're gonna go over this. Hey, this radio, if anybody needs to add this to your collection, just let me know. It's reasonably priced, I think, for what it is, right? Very rare. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is go over a couple things with you all. So, yeah, one guy says he has this radio and it's got some wires inside. Yeah, he's not positive where they go to, and I think this radio here is stock. So we're going to look over those wires and see if we can help him out with some clues there. You can't have loose wires inside the radio. Okay, and it's not like there's a million of these guys out there, like a 142 or something, right? Okay, before we do that though, I'm going to give you a little update on that last video with the D858 PLL chip. Yeah, Be Cool. I love those radios. I'm telling you, man, D858 is the way to go. Now on this particular radio, I did replace a few capacitors just for whatnot. The power supply cap, I just measured that on my meter. Yeah, there's no bulging. This cap is an awesome cap, right? But it's in the power supply. I just like to replace them. And then here's that one capacitor. I'm not sure if you can call that bulging, but it had a little bit of a. So it was 1,000 microfarads. Pretty standard stuff, filter cap. So we put a new one of those in. And even that pesky C179. This is one of the very few that I've actually seen that is still good. It read about 2.3 microfarads. It's a 2.2er. So yeah, again, this radio had such low hours on it. I'm thinking it just didn't get used that much, and that's why the caps, at least this one, survived. But again, that really kind of shows you that these capacitors in the D858, they're just outstanding. Even after 40 to 50 years now, these capacitors are still within spec. Even the ones I pulled out here, all of them. Okay, well, the other thing I'll talk to you about the D858 is they do have a relay, which is a little bit of an annoyance, right? So I pull those relays out, and you're going to see it here. And what you have to do is, I take some emery, this little piece of paper here is just for illustration, but I get some emery paper in there and I shine those contacts up. And see the one on the left there? Yeah, this one looks pretty good, but you'll see the one on the left is where all the DC current goes through. So this one will usually be colored. So what you have to do is you just go in there and shine up those contacts. You see there's a push-pull. It's either on or off. And I just polish those guys up, make sure they're repeatable. And to do that, you gotta take off this little thing, which isn't always easy. You kind of got to pry up both of these sides at the same time, and yeah, it just goes right over there, and the whole thing is being held on with this metal clip. So when you go to put it back on, there's a little notch that each one of these go right into. Alright, okay, so let's get into this. Turn this Pace CB radio off over here, so I can stick my fingers in there and feel pretty good. Oh yeah, these guys are still sticking around. Got some comments on the Simba. Yeah, there was a Simba 2, but there's also just a Simba 2. See, here I go. There's a Simba, I believe, that has a 40 channel dial. They just kind of snuck them in there. And then there's a Simba 2. I'm not sure what that animal is, to be honest. Down in Australia or something, I'm not sure. So yeah, that's why I'm always looking. I like this radio, don't get me wrong, but it's crystal controlled, and crystal controlled sideband radios, yeah, take a lot of patience, and they don't, you know, they don't have the best ears and they don't have the best power. That's why I like PLL chassis. You know, they stepped up the game a bit. All right, here we go. Okay, so this friend of mine says he's got some black wires over here. And this is the corner of the radio. It looks like a headphone jack. Okay, so the black wires, there's two of them. One comes over here to the speaker. Looks like a ground. Because that same black wire then goes back here over to, looks like the headphone jack. Okay? The other black wire on this side goes up and above, and it's kind of attached with this yellow wire that comes off right here. Alright? And there's another black wire that is attached right there. Okay? So yeah, a lot of black wires there. So they come up here, all three of those wires come over here. And then looks like one of them goes to, is that right? Looks like it goes to the yellow goes to the RF output. That's kind of weird. And the two blacks, they're tied to the same spot here. It says 84. Okay, so hopefully that helped you out there. Yeah, it looks like this is a common ground. They both come up and over, and they come over here to the rear jack, and then they come over here to the speaker, and then they head over to the headphone jack on the front. Okay, we'll let you have a good look over there. See anything else? Yeah, I don't think this radio's been monkeyed with at all. And what you're going to see here, this is a sideband radio. It looks like a little bit of everything. I see a little D858 over here. I see a little PLL02A design over here with the audio. We got about the same kind of filter that a PLL02A chassis would go through. And same thing with the tuning caps over here. But the PLL is different. It's not easy to mod. Doesn't give you a lot of channels. And this is a weird oddity to tune, I'm telling you. It's kind of like, what? But it's got positives. Look at, there's not a lot of capacitors in this thing. And you know, you're learning these radios without a lot of capacitors are actually a good thing. Especially over time. Those SBE radios with 50 caps in there, I don't like those. Alright guys, there you go. Yeah, same thing with this Superstar. Yeah, I'm not really, you know, I can only talk on so many radios, and I got them all. So if there's a radio out there you guys like or need or just gotta have, let me know. Also, not all my radios are expensive, okay? Yeah, I do try to get my $100 out of all these after the labor, but the radio cost is what it is, right? Choice ones cost more, but I got a lot of average looking Cobra 142s, Washingtons, you know, and they're reasonably priced, $250, $300. So okay.